Sabres best players let them down again and now staring elimination in the face after a Game 5 loss.
You're Locked On Sabres, your daily podcast on the Buffalo Sabres. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
What is up, everybody, and welcome in. It's a Thursday night edition of the Locked On Sabres podcast. Thanks for making us your first listen every day. We are free and we are available wherever you listen to your podcast, whether it's on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, wherever it might be. You can watch our show as well on YouTube. Be sure to like and subscribe us there if you're watching along. Interested in our Locked On Sabres Discord? A lot of anger and angst and yelling in there today. You can head over to lockedonsabres.supercast.com and you can share your emotions with us. Sneaky Joe DiBiase here on a Thursday as the Sabres fall to the Montreal Canadiens and now trail in the series 3-2, their fourth home loss of the playoffs. And now here we go. We are headed to Montreal with the season on the line, down 3-2, looking to force a Game 7. All that went wrong in Game 5. I was in the building, and I don't have a great track record. You can blame me if you want. Maybe we should. I'm 0-2 at the playoffs. I was at Game 2 against the Boston Bruins, the wagon towel. They got smoked in that one. And I was at this game tonight. Give me a hell yeah. That was the towel tonight. And they got smoked in that one. Not good, I guess, while I'm in the building. For everyone's sake, I will not be at Game 7. Just a heads up, splitting some season tickets, and I'm not in the rotation for Game 7, so maybe that's a good thing. Maybe the Sabres will win it. There's a lot to get to on the show. I want to talk about the goaltending, Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen and Alex Lyon, where we stand there, heading into game number 6. And even though I think the goaltending is the thing that's got me the most angry after this game, I was really surprised at how disjointed and mad I really got at this game. It really is because I think of how the Sabres are losing these games. It's not close games. You know, if the Buffalo Sabres were trailing 3-2 in this series, and they lost 2 games where one was a late third period goal by Montreal, and they won by 1, and the game was pretty even. And then the other one was overtime, and the puck went off a guy's leg and into the net. Like, there are a lot of different outcomes where I think they could be trailing in the series, and I just wouldn't find myself being so mad at them. But I am, because I really feel like, and this is me as going to say, like, even though the goaltending is making me mad, the goaltending is not the reason why they're trailing in this series. At least it's not the number one reason why they are trailing in this series. They're down 3-2, and their best players are playing like garbage. I don't know if that's even putting it strongly enough. That's where we have to lead off with on today's show is there they are leading in the game. They are up 3-2. They are being given a gift by Jacob Dobish. He was so bad in the first period. I mean, I was never in my life more on the same page with the shoot guy. The shoot guy on the power play in hockey crowds for my entire life has been an idiot. Because no, don't just fire the puck into a guy's shin pads. I always want to yell at that guy. I always want to argue with that guy. And I was in lockstep with that guy in this game. Shoot the puck. That dude on the other side was rattled, and he was ready to give up anything you threw his way. I mean, both the Josh Doan goal, which is a one-timer, but it's along the ice and at the pad, and then Konsta Helenu scoring his goal, which was even worse, where Dobish puts his head to the ceiling immediately after. You're being given a gift by this guy. You are leading going into the second period, and they were playing well. The Sabres weren't total luck. Like, it's not like they got dominated for the first period and then the goalie just gave it to them. I mean, I thought they were fine in the first period. I thought it was pretty even, and I thought they looked good. I thought they were skating well. I thought they were battling on pucks. They had long stretches in the Montreal end, but there Dobeš was giving you those couple of easy ones. You lead 3-2, and man, there was a moment in the second period, and this is where I kind of want to lead into to start today's show. The best players letting them down. It's kind of amazing to me Tage Thompson has the numbers he does in this series and in this playoff, because it's another game where he makes me nervous every time he's touching the puck, and his line continues to get run over when he's on the ice. You did have another moment, by the way, where he fell while at the point and got just enough of the puck, almost forced or caused another breakaway by Montreal. But he had a moment in this game in the second period, coming down on a breakaway, one-on-one against Dobeš. It is a 3-2 hockey game. The building is still buzzing. And it was one of those moments, I'm behind the Montreal net in the second period. So that play is coming right at me. And I don't know if the whole arena did this, but I know the whole section and region of the arena that I was in behind Dobeš, everyone stood up. We saw Tage coming in. Everybody stood up. Here we go. This is the moment. It's game 6. You're tied 2-2. You're at home. Go put your foot down and take control of this series. And Thompson came in and I think did the right thing, waiting out Dobeš, and then just didn't lift the puck enough to score the goal. And it's one play. It's one breakaway. I don't want to overreact to one play like that, but that's a spot where you got the puck in your best player's hand in that situation at home. I need you to be my best player. I need you to make your mark on this series. Here it is. And he wasn't able to lift the puck. And what really, again, not to crush him just for the not scoring on the breakaway, but then it puts the focus more on, well, how's the rest of it going? His line, I said before this series began, if they could break even with the Montreal top line for this series, the Sabres would win the series. And it just couldn't be further from that. And that's even with Montreal's top line not going nuclear. They've been good, but they haven't overwhelmed the Sabres, I would say. But what's happened to me that's been a surprise is that the Thompson line has just been so poor. And Thompson is some of it and a good amount of it. But the other area of my disappointment is right now in Alex Tuch. And game 5, I thought he was terrible. He was spinning around like a top when pucks were in a 50-50 battle, especially anywhere near the middle of the ice. And I didn't like puck decisions he made. I mean, I thought Tuch was really, really poor in this game. And he's still out there playing a good amount of minutes. I mean, 15 minutes and 50 seconds of even strength ice time actually might have been the lowest he's played in a while. Remember, he played the most of any forward in round 1 and was great. And round 2, we are now through 5 games, and Alex Tuch has no points. And this is what's more incredible. When Alex Tuch is on the ice in this series, the score is 10-0 Montreal. Let me say that again. And this is a little bit unfair, but I will clarify in a moment for more context. This includes all situations. This includes penalty kill and power play. When Tuch's on the ice in round 2 against Montreal, the score is 10-0 Habs. And honestly, you might be waiting for the setup of, well, at 5-on-5, it's not as bad. At 5-on-5, it's 8-0 Montreal when Tuch's on the ice. And that's not luck. That's not bounces. He's playing horrible. And I think Thompson, for the most part, is as well. I said this a couple of shows ago, and I still believe it. I don't even feel proper judging Peyton Krebs on this series because I don't think you can really judge how well he's doing when the other two guys are playing so poor. He's the third option. He's the puck possession, dig it out guy in the offensive zone when he's out there with those two. And when they never have the puck, I don't know how I'm really supposed to evaluate Peyton Krebs. So I'm really staring more at the other guys because, listen, their best players haven't been their best players. Zach Benson's been their best player. Josh Doan has been their best player. Josh Norris, I don't even think he's played amazing, has been their best centerman in this series. I mean, Matthias Samuelsson, you can make a case, has been their best defenseman. Alex Lyon's been their best goaltender. The guys that are supposed to be their best players are not being their best players. It's kind of amazing they didn't get swept with that being the case. It's really frustrating. That's where the anger comes in for me, because it feels like an opportunity lost. If my top guys were just playing well, I'd be winning the series. Maybe I'd be done already. Maybe I would have won it. How are they in this series still with that being the score? It's 5-0 when all three of them are out there at the same time, by the way. Thompson, Tuch, and Krebs. They have been the worst line for the Buffalo Sabres. A 31% expected goal share when they are on the ice. I want to say I don't get it, but I don't get it. I don't get it with Tuch. Tage, Thompson is got this thing with skating that everyone knows he has, and it's just being magnified in round 2. And Thompson is still even putting some points up. So, I don't really have a great explanation for why Thompson's playing so poor. But I've got no explanation for Tuch. None. Doesn't make any sense to me. He has been to the finals. He's been such a good player and such a consistent player since he was in Vegas. And he's been that player his entire time in Buffalo. You get to the playoffs finally, and he's playing the most, and he's scoring goals, and he's setting guys up. He's winning battles. Remember, he wins a battle on the Thompson goal against Boston in game 1. They don't win that game without Tuch in the first game of last series. He's an amazing penalty killer, creating offense on it, especially. Just never had a concern with him in his entire Sabre career, because I think he's such a good skater. He's a good finisher. He's got a pretty good mind for the game. He's just got these traits that should make it so that he never has a series or a stretch like this. And yet, he does. And I guess this is where I'll finish with Tuch. You can't even blame the opponent, I think. Because I guess if they had played Tampa and it would look like Tuch's getting bodied out of this series, again, even that though, Boston didn't do that to him, but outworked and maybe physicality was getting to him against a Tampa, okay, I could start to see something like that. But Tuch, even though he's big, I think presents more as a finesse speed guy. And that's this team. That's Montreal. That's the opponent. It's supposed to be what you're playing against. How is it not going well? How is it going this poor? How is it 10-0 when he's on the ice? It's something I didn't see coming. It's bleeding into, for me, what I think they should do with him this offseason. And I'm sure that's happening for a lot of people. That's group chats everywhere for Sabre fans right now. Tuch and the offseason. And I was very set on my opinion on and I was ready to talk about it as soon as the season ended on this show. What I wanted them to do with Tuch, I wanted them to pay him because the cap's going up. They have room. Everybody has room. And you can make it happen. And you should pay your best guys when he's 30 years old. That's what good teams do. If it goes poorly in 4 or 5 years, what else do good teams do? They find a place to put the contract. The bad team's going to take it on for them, give him a draft pick, buy him out. You'll figure it out. That's what I wanted them to do because he's been such a good player. And I don't know. I don't know where I'm going to be in a week. Recency bias could be the thing. And by the way, that's in a week if they actually don't win the series. They still could, of course. But I don't know where I'm at. I think I might not want them to pay Tuch anymore. And part of that is his play being so poor. Part of that is seeing reports about teams like Seattle being willing to pay him $11+ million in free agency. Saw that. And another part of it is all the cheap labor that's coming up. Konsta Helenus and Yuri Kulik and Noah Ostlund and excitement about all those guys that I'm really having my opinion swayed. But anyways, more on this game specifically. I know a lot of that was more big picture, the series overall. The Sabres started well. They got out to a 3-2 lead, and then they just got rolled in the second period. More on that second period and goaltending. How big a problem was goaltending in this game? want to, again, say it for the record. I don't think it was the biggest problem at all. Guys like Tage, guys like Thompson, guys like Dahlin. I want to talk about penalties when we come back as well. That's a bigger problem. But UPL did not help his case, and I'm done with it. That's when we come back on Locked On Sabres. Today's episode of the Locked On Sabres podcast is presented by 5 Hour Energy Cotton Candy flavor. Now, if you got a sweet tooth like I do, and you are, looking for whatever, and you know how tough it is to find that perfect treat without all the sugar. That's why Cotton Candy 5 Hour Energy Shop brings that nostalgic flavor back in a whole new way. Classic cotton candy taste that you remember, but with a tasty caffeine boost and zero sugar. It's a quick, easy way to satisfy that sweet craving while keeping things simple and on the go. Always love that cotton candy flavor, fruity vanilla vibe, surprisingly smooth. And here it's convenient too. Small, portable shot that you can grab and go whenever you need a little bit of a pick-me-up. And it's also my go-to when I need something sweet and want something sweet without going overboard. Bring on the sweetness with 5 Hour Energy Cotton Candy, available now online at 5hourenergy.com or on Amazon. Sneaky Joe here on Locked On Sabres. We're presented by FanDuel Sportsbook. Be looking for that series line coming up on Buffalo and Montreal. Might be the time to buy back in on Buffalo if you're not too down in the dumps after this game. But it's not just hockey. It's the NBA playoffs. Football, the schedule is out now, so you can start betting on that as well, which is, or just even looking at the games. That's a lot of fun as well. Right now, new customers bet $5 and you'll get $150 in bonus bets if your first bet wins. That's right. Turn $5 into $150 in bonus bets just for getting started. FanDuel during the playoffs is great because you can also use it to check stats and trends and matchups before making your picks. Maybe you just need to feel better about your team. You want to see what the odds say about it. Whether you're looking for player props or your favorite stars, it's easy to navigate, makes playoffs even more engaging from start to finish. Head to FanDuel.com right now to get started. FanDuel, play your game. You would expect that if UPL wrestled the net back away from Lyon, you're going to get to an important game 6 or game 7, and he's going to implode on you. He's going to let in a soft goal. He's going to have a bad game. Just not trustworthy at all for these types of games. And I would almost be afraid that if he did come in and play amazing, that would set him up to let you down in a bigger moment ahead. So in no world would I ever put UPL in. Well, I hate to say I told you so, but a little bit of I told you so here. And I do hate doing that. Do I hate doing that? People generally say they hate doing that, and they actually don't hate doing that. I do hate doing that. But I had to put that in there. That is me on Monday. I mean, Luukkonen, it's not the biggest problem from the game. I want to be clear on that. I really don't think it was. But it certainly did not help at all. Sabres fall in this one. Haven't said the final score. 6-3. Buffalo falls, and now they trail in the series 3-2. Get to a lot of other things, the penalties that their best players are taking, and we'll get to the goaltending as well. The odds of the series, there's a lot to get to coming up on the show. And I guess before we do get to Luukkonen and that little soliloquy there, just a piece of what I had earlier in the week. Before Luukkonen had played game 4, want to finish up on Thompson and the Sabres' best players. Because while Tuch is playing really poorly and Thompson's playing really poorly, Thompson is also taking penalties. And that happened again in this game where, yeah, you might not be feeling good about the vibes in this one. But there you are in the second period and still a 1-goal game. It's a 1-goal game. And you got a full period to play. And there's Tage Thompson nearing the end of a shift, and the puck goes away from the play, and yet Thompson decides, I'm going to throw a little bit of a cross-check up high on this guy. And that's as selfish a penalty that he takes on Jake Evans as you can find. The puck is gone. There's no reason to cross-check here. You're just frustrated by the way that your series is going, by the way that your game is going. He goes to the box, bam, Montreal power play goal. Now it's 5-3. And that's late in the second period. And that feels like a killer. And that is his 6th minor penalty of the playoffs. That is tied for the most of any center in the NHL. In the entire NHL postseason, 6 minor penalties is tied for the most of any center. He's only drawn 2. So net penalties -4 for Thompson in the playoffs so far. And Dahlin, meanwhile, I don't think Dahlin is similar to Tuch and Thompson in the name of he's playing poorly. I think Dahlin's playing really well. I think he's controlling the puck well. Sure, there's some mistakes here and there. Is he playing his A+ game in these playoffs? I wouldn't say that. Maybe A- though. I think he's been very strong. The numbers show that. And I think he still controls the game whenever he wants to. But Dahlin is doing the thing that he always does. Thompson, this is new. Thompson does not take dumb penalties, typically. But he is doing it right now. And I think they're out of frustration. Dahlin has always taken dumb penalties. His entire career. Most minor penalties in the league, depending on what timeline you look at in the NHL. He takes a lot of penalties. And right now, he's tied for the most. Ryan Hartman and Caden Goalie of Montreal. They, along with Dahlin, have taken 9 minor penalties. Not penalty minutes, because actually Benson might actually still lead the league in penalty minutes because of misconducts. Actually, he got 10 again tonight. Benson probably leads the league in penalty minutes in the postseason, but minor penalties drawn, or minor penalties taken, Dahlin tied for the most with 9, which is, of course, a problem, a big problem. And that happened again in this game. Again, game's mostly over, but not totally. It is a 2-goal game, and you've got a full period. You don't feel great about it. Dahlin, cross-check on Ivan Demidov. And he goes to the box, bam, Demidov scores, and now it's 6-3, and now it truly is game over. I've got my 2 best players, my leaders, my guy that wears the C and a guy that wears the A, taking 2 dumb penalties late in the second and early in the third within a couple of minutes of each other that gives up 2 goals. That instead of a 4-3 game, I got to come back from 6-3. And now it's not a real hockey game. Really frustrating. Really frustrating. The penalty thing has got to stop from them when they're undisciplined. Not all the penalties are created equal. I don't blame Tage for the penalty he took in the last game, the cross-check. But there are other penalties he's taken. And that one tonight was abysmal. Absolutely abysmal. Sabres got run over in that second period, and they got outplayed. That can happen, right? Like when you are skating to the opposite bench in a second period like that, and you get hemmed up in your own end, it can magnify the problem. That puck possession's all in Montreal right now. Hey, Matthias Samuelsson, I noticed it was like 4 different times, and your forwards are on the hook for this as well, where the Sabres could not get the puck deep, and Samuelsson couldn't get off the ice. I think he had a 3-minute shift at one point because he's got further to go. He can't get to the bench and not have an odd man rush go back the other way unless your forwards have gotten it deep for you. And the Sabres never did. They had tired defensemen out there a lot in the second period, and it really ended up costing them. The other thing that ended up costing them, though, was your goaltender allowed 2 goals that you gotta get stops on. I don't know that I want to blame him for a lot for the previous 3, but I need a save from Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen on a couple of those goals in the second period. But I'm just not surprised at all. You know, when you look at the 4-3 goal by Jake Evans, it's a nice play by Evans, and it's a nice breakout. Like, Montreal starts with the puck behind their own net. This might be one of the plays where Samuelsson, by the way, is stuck out on the ice. The puck gets by Dahlin up the wall, and here comes Demidov. But the Sabres are still in good shape because Samuelsson's heading towards Demidov, and Tage is taking Evans, who's cutting towards the net. And so is Dahlin, by the way. They're actually kind of both covering him. And Demidov makes a really nice play to get a shot off. He cuts back on Samuelsson, and he takes the shot from the low face-off circle. Like, bad angle shot, but he's getting a good shot on it. And Luukkonen's just in perfect position. Perfect position. It goes between the arm and the body. That can't go in. From that angle, in that spot, that can't leak through you and find the back of the net. But you want Luukkonen? That's Ukko-Pekka Luukkonen. If you don't want that puck to go in, if you want composure and technique and not letting a squeaker like that go in based on how you're playing the play, and that's a technique goal, then you play Alex Lyon, which they should have been doing. And I've said this all along. I said it after game 3. I said it again after game 4. I wanted them to go with a rotation, even after Luukkonen played great. You can't let that puck go in. And then you get another one a little bit later on on the power play goal that I don't think is that bad because of, or this one, excuse me, by Suzuki. Demidov is the second power play goal. One. Again, Sabres are not in terrible shape. They're in their diamond, and you get a puck that goes low face-off circle, and everyone's doing okay, but Suzuki does get a one-timer off. But Suzuki doesn't, I don't think he gets this the way he wants to. I'm sure what he wants is to get this puck top corner, and it's low. And Luukkonen is like just off balance, kind of in his own net. Like, he's falling actually after the puck goes in. Like, I just don't think he's very comfortable when this play happens. And I just think that's a mark of a goalie that is sloppy a lot of the time. Has been his entire career. Has been in the AHL before this career began. And it's never really corrected itself. It's gotten better for stretches, and this year was a stretch of that. But it's in there. It's always in there. I called him on Monday after they got smoked in game 3. Careful what you wish for with Luukkonen going in, because even if he plays well, he's a ticking time bomb. And tonight we were all around for the boom. So he shouldn't play again this series. I don't think he will. Lyon is absolutely getting game 6. And I can't imagine if you win game 6 that Lyon is not playing game 7. And that if you were to win both of those with Lyon in the goal, that he's not getting the start of the Carolina series. So maybe Luukkonen could play if they were to go in against Carolina at some point. But this is, Lyon has got to take them the rest of the way here and to lead them back against Montreal. I got more to say about Luukkonen, but I'll save it till after the season. Because again, I think that was enough, right? Couple minutes on Luukkonen. I don't want to make it all about Luukkonen. I don't think this game was lost because of Luukkonen. I just also think he really hurt them. He really hurt them. You know, as much maybe as an individual like Tage did or an individual like Tuch did or any of those guys. When we return, what are the odds the Sabres are going to do this? I'll give you my vibe check right now, trying to reset from a bad Game 5 loss, and we'll look ahead coming up on Locked On Sabres. Today's episode of the Locked On Sabres podcast is presented by Hims. ED is way more common than most guys think. Millions of guys deal with it at some point, and that's exactly why Hims offers a straightforward way to handle it. Hims connects you with licensed healthcare providers online, giving you access to legitimate ED treatment options from the comfort of your home. No awkward appointments, no pharmacy lines, just a straightforward process that'll make it easier to take care of yourself. The whole process is simple, complete, quick online intake. Provider will review your information, and if the treatment is right for you, it'll ship discreetly to your door in discreet packaging, which makes the whole experience feel private and stress-free. It's straightforward, transparent, and designed to make getting care feel easy. To get simple online access to personalized, affordable care for ED, hair loss, weight loss, and more, visit hims.com/LockedOnNHL. It's hims.com/LockedOnNHL for your free online visit. hims.com/LockedOnNHL. Prescription required. See website for details and important safety information. Sildenafil is the generic version of Viagra. Viagra is a registered trademark of Viatris Specialty LLC. Hims is not affiliated with or endorsed by Viatris. Sneaky Joe back here on the Locked On Sabres podcast. Okay. Down 3-2. Game 5 went really poorly. They're getting smoked every time they lose to Montreal in this series. Goal differential, really poor in this series. Might even feel lucky that they're in it still. They've been, I don't want to say largely outplayed, because the numbers coming into this game were actually good. The Sabres were 52.8% expected goal share at 5-on-5 before game number 5. And, it was, and this game, it was actually, no, it was 57% for Montreal. So where we stand now as a series, it's 50.6 Montreal, 49.38 for Buffalo. So not that far off. Not that far off. Can they win game 6 and game 7? I wouldn't bet it. I think they've disappeared one too many times in this series for me to believe that they could have two strong efforts back to back against this team. They absolutely, though, can win game 6. And you win game 6, how do they deal with the pressure going into a game 7? How do they deal with playing at home? Very strange. They are 2-4 at home in these playoffs. I don't know what that's about. That could be, I think Lindy even maybe spoke to this a little bit. There's more distractions at home, families in town, going to the game. I guess that makes some sense, I guess. But it is odd. They were a great home team all year, and they have not been a great home team in the postseason. So here's one bit of optimism, I guess. It's that, well, their top line can't play any worse, and they've gotten this far with their top line not playing well. Also, I feel like they're back to having their best goalie in the net. I think that helps. And I just have a belief in this team that they're not going to look that poor to another game here in this series. I guess I'm going down with the ship on that, because that's 3 times in this series where they've really struggled. They've been so good all year. They've been so consistent from December on that I want to believe that when it's desperate for them and their hair's on fire, that they're not going to get stomped like they did in this game. That maybe there is a little bit of immaturity with them in letting their foot off the gas when the season's not on the line, like it wasn't in game 5, like it wasn't in games 2 or games 3. But now that it is in game 6, I'm very curious to see what they look like, because we didn't get that test against Boston. We didn't get that test in the regular season. And except in December, I guess. Like, we never really saw them playing like the season was truly on the line that night. And I can't imagine they don't play with full intensity and full desperation in a game 6. I guess, though, for them, it's beyond that. It's this series is about puck decisions. And Lindy said about Tuch, and he has said this about Tage, maybe they're trying too hard. So maybe it's not even a good thing, but I'm still going to take it, though, that it is. That them playing desperate, I believe they will win game 6. I do. I think they will go into Montreal and they will win game 6. I'm honestly, though, spooked by what they've looked like at home and what they've looked like trying to string a couple of wins together against this Montreal team. I don't think I'm totally confident in what they would look like in a game 7. I'm more confident they'll win game 6. And, if you win game 6, then maybe we'll all be believing that they can do it in game number 7. So they fall here, though. 6-3 is the final. It's past midnight, so I guess I began the show with a Thursday. Welcomed into the Thursday night edition of Locked On Sabres. Well, I'll say goodnight here from a Friday morning edition of the Locked On Sabres podcast. We will talk to you for game 6, ABC game, watch party at the arena. Finally, it's time for the season to not end. We'll talk about it then, and lineup changes. If you want more on that discussion about the future and elsewhere, go to our Discord, LockedOnSabres.supercast.com. That's the place to sign up. We'll talk to you tomorrow here on the Locked On Sabres podcast, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, now your number 1 sports podcast